Lovely to meet everybody here. Welcome to Hang. This is Scotland's first hip hop and grime conference. This panel is called Platforms, Promotion and Pitching. My name's Alana Hepburn. I've done hip hop events for over 10 years across Scotland, ranging from American acts, Scottish acts, UK acts. For over 8 years, I've also been an artist liaison and stage manager at festivals such as Kelburn, Nostock and Boomtown. And I'm also the co-founder of Hang alongside Richie Muirhead. So I'm here today with these three music industry legends to discuss the topic of platforms within printed media, concerts, live events and social media. So if we could just go round everybody and do a quick introduction about yourself and what you do. And if we could please start with Henca, that would be great.
Hi, how are you guys? My name is Henca. I turned 45 this year. Been in this industry for about 23, almost 24 years. Run a foundation called Epitome Entertainment, which is a talent development foundation, so it's non-profit. We try to get the best out of people. That's why we call it Epitome. So if you're really whack, we make you a little less whack. And if you're really amazing, we try to make you a superstar and everything in between. We like to push people, whether it's producers, songwriters, artists, managers, up and coming, PR agents, anybody that is involved in this thing that it's called the music industry game, and we focus on urban music. For us, urban music is wider than just hip hop. We try to facilitate people that do soul music, reggae, dancehall, hip hop, R&B, funk, actually black music. If I have to sum it up, Afro, even Latin music, try to facilitate everything. And that's one of the things. My side hustle is I'm a manager to artists, producers, and writers. And I'm about to start a publishing company as well, because I feel like publishing is where people build generational wealth. I feel like a lot of the publishers are signing people, but they're not doing anything to facilitate the growth. So I'm like, okay, well, if people are signing away their publishing and the publishers are not doing anything, I might as well step in, because I always set up writing camps anyway. I do writing sessions. I pitch the records to labels. I do all of that anyway. So I figured, let me try to step in and do the publishing, where sometimes somebody else can manage the creative, because obviously we all know that's a headache, management, but I love what I do, but it's really a big headache. And then sometimes just look at it as a publisher and help the managers and help the creatives to get to the next level. And that's the side hustle. So that's pretty much it. Oh, of course. Oh yeah. And then the biggest thing, I guess, that people know me from is I run a music conference called Skool Rules. It's the largest urban music conference in the world outside of the US. A3C is the only one that's larger than us. We've been doing this for, 9 editions. We've just finished our 9th edition, and the 10th will be in 2022 in May. That's one of the events, but that's the most known one. That's pretty much it.
Brilliant, Henca, that's great. And Robin, you're up next. If you could just give us a wee quick introduction and what you do in the music industry.
Oh, how can I follow that? Thank you, Henca. Thank you, Alana. My name is Robin Murray. I am the editor of Clash across print and online. So I'm based in London. Clash is actually a brand that has Scottish roots. And when I joined the company in 2007 as an intern, we had an office in Dundee. But since then, we've all become conglomerated in London. We're a quarterly print magazine and online, and we used to run various events across London before the pandemic happened, but we're going to start that up again soon. To give you an idea of the breadth of coverage that we do, we've offered, the first print covers to artists like Dua Lipa and Stormzy. We've hosted an event with Jay Huss. We've done a huge amount of different things, focusing on new music all the way through to really huge artists. For myself, I've also dabbled in music management. I've appeared on Six Music, One Extra, Times Radio, and I've just published my first book.
Fantastic, Robin. And if we could just go on to Sami next, please.
Hey everyone, lovely to meet you all. My name is Sami. My background I started with, basically I was a producer, sound engineer. I've always had a passion for music growing up, and then went on to study it. So I've done a diploma in music management, and then after that, I got my diploma, and I was still working a 9 to 5, and I thought, no, there's something wrong here, you know. So then I went ahead and basically started opening up the first studio, our studio, Affiliate Studios, back in 2014. It wasn't that we were open commercially for everyone, but more specific for the genre of hip hop, R&B, drill and trap. So we worked on that for a good couple of years. We then expanded and started doing events, booking artists. And then what happened was, working with lots of Scottish artists, we were always dependent on platforms down south, basically like Grime Daily, Link Up TV and stuff. And I believe it just got to a point where there was so much content coming out of here, and we just thought, right, there's got to be a time where we set up our own platform for Scotland, hence the birth of Up to Standard, which is now a media company. Under that umbrella, we have recording studios. We shoot music videos for artists. We have our online social platform upon which we exploit and give exposure to artists, producers, and likewise.
Can I ask Robin, what's the book about?
So the book is just a love letter to the album format. So it just looks at great albums from the past kind of 30 years, very future facing. Previously, if you look at other books that are on the shelves that talk about albums, it's always the Beatles and the Stones and Neil Young. But this is Skepta, Jay-Z, Nas, Destiny's Child, just all the favorites, all the greats, all in there. So it's really about speaking about what the album format means to a different generation. That's what the book is about.
No.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic to have you guys here. You all have really well knowledge in your area. Obviously, we'll be discussing about platforms, promotion, and pitching today. So, if we basically look at the way that music platforms today, such as Spotify, SoundCloud, are more of a means of distributing music, but how would you say that your work and the platforms that you're involved with help artists, and what experiences have you had from this? And that's over to Henca, please.
I think I'm involved with a lot of different platforms, and my own platform being New Skool Rules as one of them, the largest one. I always said that your network is your net worth in the music industry, and I think that's why it's very important that people meet each other at platforms, whether it's digital or whether it's physical. Obviously, I really feel that music-wise, it's better to meet each other physically. I think I'm still a little old school with that, but especially after this period, I realized that, music, our business it's a business, but it's about emotions and it's about feelings and it's about relationships. So I definitely encourage everybody to not only stay on this digital wave that we are forced to be on at this moment, but definitely invest in a physical and real life experiences and meetings of people, because and I guess now it changed a little bit. Before Corona, I had never done actual real business with people that I'd never met. So to meet them somewhere physically and then to build digitally is no problem, but to have never met them and really do business with each other, it had never happened to me. So I think platforms are super important. You meet like-minded people, you meet people that might blow up, or you might be the one blowing up. It's always good to to be able to measure yourself against other people doing their things, or to learn from other people. And a lot of times when people go to things like New Skool Rules, they always are very focused on the panel members, on the speakers. But I always say, look around you and try to network with your peers, because in the end of the day, it's a numbers game. So if you meet enough of your peers and you stay in touch with enough of them, you're going to always have one of the peers to blow up. So we've had a situation where we had Nico and Vince at New Skool Rules in 2011, and nobody knew them at that point. They were still rappers. They wasn't singing at all. They had met the guy that produced Am I Wrong at New Skool Rules. He was a Norwegian producer. He was one of our speakers, happened to be one of our speakers, and they were just delegates. They met him there. 2 years later, ended up doing a song there, doing a song in Norway, out of New School Rules, came to New School Rules, had already signed in Norway to Warner, and still was networking with everybody. They were still playing demos in the demo listening sessions for the A&Rs, but also to let their peers listen to the music. So I have a video where they're playing Am I Wrong as a a mastered version of Am I Wrong? And the bidding war started right there and then, and the bidding war went all the way to the US and ended up giving them a global deal. But in the same New School Rules, they were still jamming in jam sessions with a whole bunch of other peers. So they were, and were hanging out with the volunteers, and we're hanging just regular guys. So anybody and everybody that connected with them back then were still able to get in touch with them when they had blown up, and their song was, I think, one number one in like 50 different territories, because they were like, well, these people were nice to us when we didn't do anything yet, and when we didn't have a big hit yet. So these were genuine people, so they stayed in touch with them. So I think platforms like that are very important. Another platform I'm very busy with is TikTok, because you know, with artists not being able to really communicate with their fans directly or in a physical manner, I think platforms like TikTok, and especially TikTok for up and coming artists, is very important. It's very important to build a following, to still be able to give some sort of your personality to the fans. And then once you build it up, plus it gives a lot of unknown people, the algorithm gives a lot of unknown people the opportunity to be in front of a lot of people just because it's a cool video or whatever. And that way you can reach a whole bunch of new fans. So I've been in this Corona period, I've been really specializing in, you know, platforms like YouTube Shorts, TikTok, Instagram Reels, all these different, I guess, either functionalities that was already with the bigger platforms like Instagram or YouTube, or something like TikTok, where the algorithm favors whoever puts out cool content. I think that's something that, if you're an artist and you don't have a following yet, and you're not trying to be on any of those platforms because you're a serious artist, I think you're screwed. Like, going forward, you're going to be screwed, because if you don't understand that that is the way to communicate and build new fans and followings, and then the challenge becomes how to get these followers to become fans, and how to get these fans to become super fans, so they end up showing up at your concert, they end up buying merchandise. If you're not busy with playing that game right now, it's going to be super difficult for you to make anything happen.
Thank you, Henka. I fully agree. I think it's really important for up and coming artists to use every platform around them, especially when, you know, platforms can vary. I mean, you know, here we've got concert promoters, we've got media, and we've got social media, and we've got recording studios. So all of these platforms, should be utilised consistently. And that leads me on to Robin, really. So just wondering, how does the work you do and the platforms that you're involved with help artists?
Yeah, it's an interesting one, because publishing's been in a state of flux basically since high-speed broadband arrived. I think music and magazines both have been forced into this rapid evolution that's happened over the past decade or so. So just to reiterate what Henka said there, which I thought was fantastic, is that artists need to grapple with these things, but there's no right answer. It's about what works for you. It's about finding a path through it. So I suppose to look at Clash, and this picks up on what Sami said earlier, is that you do get these established platforms such as GRM Daily, such as Link Up TV, but there is still space for other people to come in and grow. So when I joined Clash in 2007, one of the big things we worried about was the number of Bebo fans we had and the amount of MySpace followers and whether we're using that effectively or not. And now, if we look at what's happened in the past 12 months with the pandemic, previously we used to run 2 monthly nights and then 1 bi-monthly night, and that was spanning different genres, whether that was club music or acoustic sets. And then without that, we've had to go back and look at things like IG Live. We've done various partnerships. We hooked up with Sneak Bowl last year for a cypher that kind of went viral, and about 150 MCs across Europe and beyond were all kind of throwing down bars on top of that. So it's just about grabbing the environment as it is and trying to make it work. And yeah, just what Henca said there, you should never be too proud to actually get involved in this, even though you see yourself as being, say, primarily a producer or an MC, and you see yourself as being, an artist in inverted commas. You are also a brand and you have to sell yourself. And if you're looking at this from a DIY standpoint, just grab hold of TikTok, just make it work for you. You're able to set down the rules for what you want to do. So with Clash, as I said, when I started, we were a print magazine that were venturing into digital. And now I think we've been able to expand outwards on top of that. But we do forever keep the print magazine because we really believe in that. We really believe that people are always going to store magazines. I still have some that are like 10 years old, 20 years old. I think my mum's probably got old, enemies and things sat under my bed somewhere in the house. But so the print magazine will always be there. But digital is always so fluid as well, and it's such an amazing way of building your own platform. I think with us, we're always looking for what's new, so social media is a great way to communicate with these artists, and we also spot what's going on. Just to pick up on what Sami said again about Link Up TV and GRN Daily, if you find that you get picked up by one and start creating a buzz, all the rest are going to notice you as well. So it's easy to get in there and interrupt what's going on, interrupt that status quo, and then just begin to make a noise and have these media platforms. We're all looking over each other's shoulder. We all want what somebody else has got at the end of the day. We're all in competition. So if you start making that noise, then you'll see that it picks up. I think another thing is that previously you might have viewed online and print as being something different, and then within online you would view social media and your website as being something different. Now it's all up in the air and it's all crossing over with each other. We're creating content that we want to see in print. It's going to move online. It will be reflected on social media. That conversation is always going on. And equally, people within the music industry are wearing multiple hats. I think people viewing this will see that from the introduction is that we're all doing about 5 or 6 jobs. And Sami's nodding his head. He's producing, he's doing different things. And Henca's obviously got so many side hustles and things. It's just really inspiring to chat about these things. But I think the point is that one person might be involved in playlisting on Spotify. They might be doing a bit of radio on the side. They might be doing, some live events. They might be DJing. So there's different spheres, and you can quickly find that you'll go from being someone who's maybe making headway on Spotify, and then suddenly that'll flip and you'll be on an Apple Music show, or you'll be on, there's some great stations in Edinburgh, for example, that you could be on. So I think what people find is that these platforms are all kind of merging, and although it might seem confusing or intimidating on the outside, there's no rules, so you can really just set your own headway, I think.
That's perfect, Robin. Yeah, I completely agree with what you're saying. I don't think print will ever not be favoured. It's almost like a CD, isn't it? You kind of get to hold it. It gives it a bit more value. And I've actually got an old The Source. I don't know if you would know that, but it's a hip hop magazine. I have one from the year I was born, framed in my room. So I don't ever think that print. Well, I think print will always stay there, and it's just this kind of new wave of digital access, really, on phones and apps and stuff. But to see the impact that Clash magazine's got, I think it goes beyond being a magazine itself, and it's really, really forefront in the culture. So it's lovely to hear you say that as well. And that brings me up to Sami. So how does your work and the platforms that you're involved with help artists, Sami?
So we found, obviously following up on my introduction, we've got the recording studios. So we've got the services that we provide for artists. What we've come to find as we've done those, artists actually we've realized, artists don't have much knowledge on actually like sort of entry level sometimes, So we it kind of opened another door for us where we started to develop an artist now. Now under developing artists, with a better guidance, bring them in and they're short of, because again, there is no right or wrong way of doing this, but it's more about how it's suited and catered to that specific artist. We would then sort of have a little roadmap for them, So, I mean, again, our primary objective was to exploit and expose those sounds of Scottish artists. But then it's just turned into this big, amazing thing now, whereas we're about to kick off our Up to Standard management, which came off of Up to Standard, the page, and we've got all these artists that are sort of, it's one of those things. I believe at entry level, there's so much information out there, right? You're looking, you want to pop off, you want to make it. Where do you start? Where do you go? You know, you've got you've got all your online distributors, your Spotify's, your Apple Music stuff, and you've got all these platforms down south, which again might not show so much love unless you're maybe like a little bit established and things like that. And I believe that's where we really came in and sort of made a little dent up here, you know. And I really see. I see the changes. I see the state of minds of artists changing. I see artists coming to us prepared, packaged, you know, having a vision of what they want. And I always say to them, you know, vision is good, absolutely. Come with a bit of purpose as well. What's your music going to do for the listener, for the fan? How would you like to connect with them? You know, again, there's some artists that might come from a bit more of an old school sort of state of mind, you know, and the same as Henca was saying, you know, about like TikTok and stuff, but we encourage it highly because not only does it open, you know, wider audiences, it's accessible by everyone. And you know, how many artists do you know that songs went viral through TikTok, for example? And it's a small thing. Do you know what I mean? So it's just and it's a combination of all these things, really. You know, but yeah, more so we're here, and you know, we're guiding artists as much as we can. As I believe I serve a duty to Scotland, to the scene, as I love Scotland. You know, I'm a producer myself, and yeah, come on, Scotland.
I like Scotland too. I've been there when I was younger. I played a tennis tournament when I was about 13 in
Okay.
Scotland. But just to go back on the TikTok, I just wanted to give a couple of examples because when I open a conversation with artists about TikTok, they always say, I don't want to do those stupid dances. I don't want to do the TikTok. The funny part about it is, first of all, the TikTok audience is way older than people are realizing. They're thinking is little kids to like 20 years old. That's not the case. Like 60% is actually between 25 and like 40. So that's first of all. And then second of all, there are so many examples of people, like for instance, there's a guy, his name is Kato the producer, or Kato on the beat. He's a producer, so he's not doing dances. He's not trying to lip sync or do all of that. He's a producer. So what does he does on TikTok? He produces beats, a minute long beat, and he puts it on TikTok. And he's like, "Yo, duet my beat," or you know, if you have any lyrics to go on this beat, boom, do it. He ends up doing that and building a following until one of the songs goes viral, and the thing really went viral. It grew his fan base, but also he was able to end up, you know, going in the actual studio with the artist that he didn't know until the point that he just put out the beat and recorded the actual song. They made it a full-length song, put it on Spotify, and it did really well on Spotify as well. So you got to find a way where you can still be you. And I'm talking about TikTok now, but that goes for every platform, where the strength of the platform being the fact that the algorithm will take it anywhere and utilize that to link it to your brand. You don't have to start acting like a clown if that's not who you are, because it's not going to be authentic and it's not going to work. So find something that works for your brand. More importantly is to be consistent and to be very hard working with it. Because the you know, the risk is, if you do the dances on TikTok and that goes viral, but you're a super serious singer songwriter, that people are not even going to realize it's you, you know, as a singer songwriter that's doing these dances. So it disconnects you. So then the fans are not going to help you grow as an artist. So you always got to look for something that's close to your brand, that can attach the fans that think, oh, that's a cool video, let me go follow you, to when you actually release a song. There's another girl, and I can't recall her name, but there's another girl, she's a singer songwriter, and her brand is writing very cynical about funny topic matters. Like for instance, she has a song about her mom for Mother's Day, and her mom is like, yeah, I pushed out 2 kids, that this shit is hard. And then she wrote this whole song about it. When she released her own song, it was a cynical singer-songwriter song. She always has like either a guitar or keys that she plays on, not produced at all. So the keys and the song about the love between her parents. And that particular post did like 48 million, because that's what she's been doing. And now that she has an original song that she also put out on Spotify, it makes all the sense in the world, because it's an extension of what she's been doing. So yeah, find something that resonates with yourself and your brand, and then put it on TikTok and keep it consistent and put out enough content or whatever. And then it can help you. And it goes for every other platform too, because credibility, authenticity, and consistency is the key for all these social media platforms. Well, actually also for the music industry in general. If you stay close to yourself and you create great content, whether it's music or social media content, it will get you closer to your end goal normally, unless you go left all of a sudden. But normally, if you continue on the road, it will take you where you need to go.
Yeah. So I just wanted to add, following
No,
on.
please go ahead. Please add, Sami. That's great.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And I think what scares a lot of people is, like you say, someone think TikTok, oh, I have to do a stripper dance to do a TikTok. But it's not that. It's like you said, your brand, your creativity, how does that resonate with you, and how do you then connect that with the audience? Kado, the producer, is an amazing one, because that's how I found him as well. It's so crazy, and he just knew how to do it. You don't have to do crazy dances and stuff like that, because we live in a world today on social media. Everything is on the phone. Everybody's on the phone. If you really want to connect, you have to really break through, and even your mind state. You just have to know, like, okay, the audiences aren't just kids; they're everyone. My mom sits on TikTok every day, just scrolling through videos. It's crazy. But yeah, just to sort of wrap up on what I was saying, on our platform, as part of the scene, is vital, and we play an important part as part of the bigger infrastructure. Down south 20 years ago, when they had, before even the GRM and stuff like that, even radio, that's a whole another thing, in Scotland, that hopefully we're soon to work on and develop and things like that. They had the Tim Westwoods, DJ Semtexes, who were directly connected to the streets, to the fans, took that music there and delivered it there. So As Up to Standard is just, I guess, one component of the infrastructure. Once the rest kick off as well and we make a whole, I think should be banging. We're good to go.
Yeah, radio I think is still very important. I started off in radio, and did about 12 years of radio at two different radio stations, but still till this day, like for instance, the Spotify curator here in the Netherlands comes from the radio station that I used to work at. So the Netherlands, there's only one left that does urban music, but and because of it, they're so relevant that if you can say as an artist, they're playing me on, on phonics, they're called phonics, then it takes you to a higher level. And I think it's the same thing with print media, or, very respected websites or platforms. It's the media part of your career that's going to be very important to put you in front of and give you a certain type of credibility that's other than, okay, you're a Spotify artist. Because sometimes what I see here is now we have this whole generation of Spotify artists that have never ever performed live in front of an actual audience. But the funny part about it, you can't tell them nothing, because they're like, yeah, but I got 150K listeners every month. So, you need to book me and you got to pay me this and this amount of money. And I'm like, for what though? Like, I don't even know what you sound like live, because you've never performed live. You don't even know what you sound like live. So why am I booking you to do a live show? Because you have 150,000 folks. Because what they don't realize is that if you make it to a certain amount of playlists, people might not know anything about you. They might just have Spotify on, and then people go through the playlist and end up going by your song because it's on that playlist. So it doesn't say anything. But what makes it difficult as a talent developer sometimes is that once they know somebody at Spotify and the song gets some traction on Spotify, a lot of these kids are thinking, okay, I'm a pro now. I can live off of this now. I got $500 last month, or 500 euros last month. And so I'm there, like, I'm doing this, I'm a pro. And you're like, no, you just happen to know this one Spotify curator, or the person that featured on the song knew the Spotify curator, and now you made some playlists. But that's that's really cool and really good. But it says nothing about, are you going to have an actual music industry career? It might bring you some money, but not in the long run. If you can't perform, if you haven't performed, you need to start working on that part of your craft, because it's definitely supposed to be part of it.
Yeah, completely. Just to pick up on something Henca said there, that there's such a difference between followers and fans. you can have all these thousands and millions of followers. It doesn't make them fans. I've lost count of the times I've been invited down to a show and you go down and you know that the song is getting all these plays on YouTube or whatever, and you go there and it's maybe at best half full. So what artists need to do is think of the bigger story and keep relating back to the music, which is what matters at the end of the day. And how are you actually going to sell yourself or make that come across? Think about bigger projects. Like, don't be afraid to do all these different ciphers and things on TikTok, but actually think about bigger projects like EPs, mixtapes, really immersing yourself in the art and making something that's going to be valued and will actually resonate and stay with people, and not just something that's going to flash up in someone's feed, get a quick like, and then on it pops, because that's got value, but we can apply value in a different sense, can't we? So converting followers to fans is probably the biggest challenge I think that a lot of these young kids are going to have.
Yeah, and I think that's and I feel like this whole Corona pandemic set us back even more, because now even the people that wanted to perform and develop their talent and their stage performance and their shows, they weren't even able to. So I think by the time everything opens back up, it's going to be trying to play catch up for the people that did release songs that did very well, but might never had the opportunity to perform these songs because they weren't able to because of the pandemic. So I think this is going to be an interesting time going ahead, and I hope a lot of people invested a lot of time and energy into the studio and into recording amazing songs, because this was a really good time to quality wise go into your craft and learn new things and try out stuff, and and not be afraid to really talk about something that you're going through. If you haven't done that now, if you were still doing party songs in the middle of the pandemic, yeah, then I'm a little worried about the depth and the quality and the long-term goals of what you're trying to do. So I'm hoping to see a lot of music being released that can stand the stamp of time a little bit more than we've had in the past couple of years, where you're like, I'm bouncing to this song too, but tomorrow I have no idea what this song was about. It's not collecting any memories. It's not bringing me any experiences. So I know it's not going to matter in 3 years. But and the other thing that I'm really wondering about is what I see is that I have a daughter, she's 11, or I have two daughters, but my oldest is 11, and she knows so many. So like we'll be in the car listening to the radio and she'll know songs, but she just knows the 30 seconds of the song that are on TikTok. So I'm really wondering if songs is going to be reduced to 30 seconds with a lot of this new generation, because she'll be after the 30 seconds, she's like, oh, is this the rest of the song? And then the hook comes back on and she's like, she's like singing the hook. And I'm like, whoa, is that going to mean that there's a generation that's just going to know songs that are 30 seconds or 15 seconds? Like, is that really going to happen? So I don't know. Like the older generation obviously is not going to do that. But even me, I know a lot of songs now that are on TikTok that I have no idea who's the artist, that I have no idea what the rest of the song is like. It's kind of, I don't know. What do y'all think?
I think Megan Thee Stallion's a real good example of how successful a TikTok song can be. I mean, that girl's now an absolute superstar, and it's all down to Savage, really, and TikTok becoming that platform for her. So it's definitely got that ability to have with artists as well. Robin, what do you think?
You do wonder sometimes if TikTok is reducing people's attention spans, but it's undeniably one of the driving forces of music right now, isn't it? I mean, you rightly mentioned Megan. I think in this country, Russ Millions and Tion Wayne recently got to #1 on a song that was trending on TikTok, and it really broke there. If we look at how we can apply that to Scottish artists, then I suppose there has long been that thing about trying to push your way into a very London-centric marketplace, whether that's media or the industry as a whole, whether that's radio, whether that's streaming, because obviously the Spotify office is in London. So I suppose social media does allow you to actually flatten that out, and I suppose it's the balance that you make between creating something that maybe is geared towards a certain 30-second frame and creating something that's going to last. It's just about trying to open up those platforms. I suppose that maybe one of the solutions is actually on our doorstep. If you look at the manner in which Irish artists in the past 5 to 10 years have really changed cultural expectations there. People like Kojak and Reggie Snow have produced music that has reached a massive global audience. And I think previously, around the turn of the millennium, the idea of an Irish rapper being genuinely huge in Europe and across North America would seem like science fiction. But no, they've done it. So people at Softboy Records in Cork and Limerick and all the guys in Dublin have really been able to upend those expectations. And I suppose, as we've all said, it's about finding that balance. It's about accepting these platforms, working them to create your own message, and then also, and the important thing is creating music that's really going to last and stand the test of time. Are you going to be happy making something? I think if we look at yeah, there's a number of different artists we could name that have released material that they've then, quietly pushed to one side when they go and make something that's got more depth, because they themselves are slightly embarrassed with the TikTok-ready choruses and hook lines and things. So yeah, it's about being true and authentic to yourself, isn't it? While also using the platforms to make the most of what's happening and to try and get past these little gates and barriers that have been put in place in this country.
Brilliant, Robin. And Sami, have you got anything that you'd like to add to that?
Your mic.
You're still muted.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, following up on what Robin said there, I totally agree. Things are evolving fast, they're forever evolving. So we adapt, but when we say we adapt, not to say we accept, it is scary to think, will one day songs be 30 seconds long? Oh God, I hope not. But it is about the artist finding the right balance of knowing how to present themselves on a frame or on a platform that you'd only be seen for 30 seconds, but at the same time, focus on your music. Make sure that's the key. You know what I mean? If that's authentic, then you take that, then you spread that out in all kind of creative ways, through TikTok, Spotify, IGTV. There's just, again, so many ways to utilize your own, you know what I mean? And then just get it into the sort of right, and to the right audience, and all the different formats, basically. Yeah, so it's having the right balance, yeah.
Yeah, good song is a good song. And whether it works on TikTok or not, then it might not work on TikTok now. But even songs right now on TikTok, you see that Bills, Bills, Bills by Destiny's Child is now going viral, like recently, the last 2 weeks. And I'm like, that's a super old song. Or something like Dangerous by Cardinal Offishall and Akon. That one went viral. Cardinal's like, I think he's like 45 right now. He was one of the panel members at New Skool Rules, and he's like, yo, I gotta get on TikTok because I got a TikTok viral. I don't know what the hell is going on. So he got on TikTok just so he has a presence on TikTok while the song is going viral. So good songs resurface might not work on TikTok for now, but a good song is a good song. It might go straight to radio, might not need TikTok or whatever. I think somebody said to me, Scott Cohen, who started The Orchard, said to me the other day that 80% of the hits in the UK, so in the top 10, I think, are on TikTok first as a viral and then cross over to the top 10 in the UK. So that's how big and signifying it is, but it's only 80%. So there's still 20% that doesn't go through TikTok, but still makes it to become a hit record. So I wouldn't start creating songs for TikTok, but I would utilize and the platform to amplify what you did with your music or what you're doing in your lifestyle to get the music out there and get the music seen and heard by as many people as possible. But don't start creating for platforms like that. You create music the way you feel like you should create music, and then you make it work on the different platforms. Or maybe sometimes it's like, okay, this platform is not suitable for this song. That's fine too. Just do something that works for what you have in mind, what works with the strategy you're doing, and then it should work.
Absolutely. Guys, some amazing answers there. I'm really feel that a lot of advice, hopefully some of the artists will take that on board, especially when it comes to kind of self-branding themselves. It kind of leads me on to the next question, which is, how do artists pitch themselves to you and what makes a pitch stand out? And if we could start with Henca on that first, please.
Yeah, so for New Skool Rules, we have an application, a showcase application that we open up. So we announce on our social media platforms that we're opening up showcases. We're getting over 1,000 applications now, and we have about 160 spots. So what stands out to me is we're asking for a live video, so a performance video, and we do that on purpose because we want to make sure that people can sing live, right? Because it's a live festival. Every single time, about 20 to 30% sends us a recorded, like the official video to a song. If you're so first of all, you have to read what's being asked of you. I don't like people that go and do their own thing because we did it in a we put a form up there so you can actually keep to the forum, because that's the things that we need to know about you so we can make a honest decision on whether or not we can put you on the showcase. So first of all, with pitching, I always feel like, you know, understand who you're pitching to. That's first of all. So do your homework. We get registrations from hard rock groups that are applying to new school rules. And I'm like, yo, obviously you didn't even look at the website, because the first line over there is urban music. So why are you applying as a hard rock band? That doesn't make any sense. So do your homework. And then second of all, send your quality stuff. Don't, because we have a lot of people that then send us like a tryout or something where I'm like, that's like applying for a job and not having any of the credentials. Like you go and apply for a job and you put your best foot forward. You're not saying, well, I have half of the things that you're asking for, but I'm here anyway because I thought, let me just try. No, you don't do that with music either. So that's for applying for a showcase. But in general, what I see when we do demo listening sessions, for instance, when people come up to the DJ to play the record and they start with disclaimers, that's annoying. Don't start. If you're not secure about what you're playing, don't play it. Play something that you can go, boom, play it. I love this record. It's this, and this. I put it together this and this way. Let me know what you think. Don't go, well, I created this last night. It's not mixed and mastered, and I actually don't know if it has a chorus, but I want to play it to you anyway, so you can give me some feedback. And then there's Grammy Award-winning producers sitting there and A&Rs from Atlantic and Republic that, you might not ever see again. No, be prepared, do your homework. Who's sitting there? Who's judging it? Why are you giving it to this person? Tell them. If you're pitching to Motown, for instance, we have an A&R called Sean Barron that works with Motown right now. If you're pitching to Sean Barron and you're pitching something that's within the Motown record company, tell him who it's for. So tell him, okay, well, I'm giving this to you because I feel like LA can be on it because this and this record by LA. He's going to be like, whoa, okay, you did your homework, you know the artist, you know what artist you want this record for, and you're referring to a record that I A&R'd for LA. And so, okay, now I want to take the time out to really listen to what you did. And if it's good, believe me, he's going to want to do something with it, just because you showed him that you respect his time, you respect your own craft, and now you're pitching something. So that's what I like to say too. Sometimes it's better to get people's contact information because you're not ready yet, than to play something and it's not there yet. Just because you're like, I'm there, let me go play it. Don't do that. Keep the record to yourself till you are confident you're at a level that you can play it for a professional like that, and just ask him for the information, because I've seen it with A&Rs where they're like, you know what, I really appreciate you being honest. I can't wait for you to send me the songs. Send me an email that this is the plan, and then I remember you. Send me a picture with it, and then by the time you send the records, then I'll listen to them. I think those are the most important things. Also, if you're pitching music, don't have the intro be a minute, because at labels they will never listen. They'll go 10 seconds into the record, they're like, what's the next record, Henca? What's the next one? What's the next one? And I'm like, but this is no. Don't have a minute intro. Just go straight into the hook. Don't have text all over your music. That's annoying too. So they can't hear the structure of the record because it keeps saying your name into the record because you're scared it's going to get copied. Don't do that either. So that's, I think, yeah. I think I emphasize what not to do But maybe the rest can.
That's just as good advice, really.
Yeah, because that's the most of the common mistakes. And just have quality music. Just believe in what you're doing. Have confidence, because if you don't believe in yourself, I'm not gonna believe in you. Because why would I believe in you if you're doubting yourself? You know, and if you're not confident yet, have a manager or find a manager that can pitch for you with confidence, because the confidence is very important. If I need to invest in you, but you're not confident about what you're doing, I won't invest in you for sure.
Fantastic, Henca. Yeah, I think touching on what not to do is also good advice, because obviously artists are kind of looking for what makes them stand out a wee bit more. And I guess if they don't have their pitch right, they're not going to maybe come across in the best way. But Robin, what do you think? Have you had an artist pitch themselves to you, and what do you think makes an artist pitch stand out?
Yeah, well, you get so many pitches every day. I think one of the great things about the current environment is that there is so much music going around. So you're always getting sent things. I suppose what makes a good pitch is, I think first of all, and Henca said this as well, is knowing yourself, knowing what you're about, knowing what the music is about, and recognizing also when it's the right time to actually bring it out to the world. I mean, people work on music for years, and I'm sure Sami's had this as well in the studio, that there's kids who will come and make music, but there's making music for yourself, and then there's making music as an artist that you're actually going to bring out there. Knowing when the right time to go out and see the world, I think, is really vital. I suppose a positive step is, actually researching the title, knowing what it is that they cover, recognizing that they're going to be the right person for you. If you don't get an answer straight away, try again. You can do things like have a look on the website or in the magazine to see what writers catch your eye. You can go and check them out on social media, maybe just give them a DM or like just give them a follow. I think the gentle approach always works best as well. Just bring it there. If it's right for them, if it's quality music, they're not going to ignore that. And I mentioned this earlier, but the titles are all looking over their shoulder at each other. So if we spot something that's blowing up on GRM Daily, like RD did recently, his track went viral on that channel, and then he had a top 10 hit. Because everybody just leaped on it. They saw that it was actually making moves on YouTube, and I think again the chorus had been stripped out and put on TikTok, and then it was going viral there. So everybody's just jumping on it. Prosaic things in terms of email. Make sure that your name is actually in the title of the email. Make sure the track name's there. Maybe put the release date as well. I get sent so much music that quite often I will look through my inbox and try and find you. So I really need just the inbox structure to actually be there, so I can just go and search for, you know, whether it's going to be Alana Hepburn's new track released in July 9th. I need to go and be able to find that. I suppose a couple of other don'ts that are specific to journalists. Don't send massive files. If you have your big WAV master, then upload that to SoundCloud, put that on private and send the SoundCloud link. Don't send the file as an attachment. And the same goes for photographs. Put that in Dropbox or Google Drive and then send the link, just to keep things easy for people. And yeah, I think it goes back to what Henca said as well. Believe in yourself, be nice, and just get yourself out there. Don't be afraid to actually give a gentle nudge or two.
Yeah, perfect. It's funny that you say that actually, because yes, Dropbox, SoundCloud is a big one. If people are sending me tracks as well, if you have to download and click in, and the next thing you're about 7 layers deep and you've still not got the track. So that's really, really good advice, Robin. Anytime you are emailing, it is the best way for an artist, is probably SoundCloud, Dropbox, iCloud as well, if they have it. And that takes us up to Sami. So just to hear from yourself, how do artists pitch themselves to you, and what makes an artist pitch stand out to you, Sami?
To start off with, yes, absolutely. Always read the brief. Always know who you're targeting, who you're trying to send your music to, and why you send it to. What can they do for you? You know, do a bit of research. Someone comes, you make your song sounds great, okay? Brand yourself as an artist, amazing. Now, to get it out there, Number one, when you do send emails, please do not send generic emails. You know, the one email that 20 people are going to get. I cannot connect with an artist that way. I cannot, you know, as I know you're just using me as a, you know what I mean, just as a resource or something like that, which is fine. But let's connect first. Introduce yourself. Tell me a bit about yourself. Don't be in a rush. Like Henka said, don't just send out anything out just because you feel like, oh, don't rush. You know what I mean? Perfect your craft. Work on your songs because that's what speaks for you at the end of the day. You know, for us, in terms of up to standard, you know, we're content based. You know, we release lots of content. What happened was obviously we're 2 years old officially. You know, so a lot of artists that send us stuff do think that we don't have the capacity to demand or ask how we want content sent to us. So they just send a YouTube link and we're like, you know, and people get annoyed and stuff, you know, but we do as much as we can. As we say, working as artist development as well, we do try and guide artists as much as we can. But yes, man, it's all about presentation, you know. Remember, we're getting 100 submissions in, you know. If you're not standing out or if you're not working to stand out, then you're going to get lost in the mix, you know. So do take your time. And I always tell artists, be patient, man. Nothing is going anywhere. Do you know what I'm saying? You'll forever create music. So, and you don't want to waste the opportunity by sending someone to someone and they might just go, oh, no, you've lost the opportunity for now when you have an amazing song to send that to them, you know, and then that's the opportunity lost. So always take your time, man. Presentation, branding is important. Same time, you know, networking, of course, you know, get on, no, I'm saying get on a personal level, but you know about me, you know of me, you know sort of what I do and what might grab my attention. Yo, go do your research. Do you know what I'm saying? That's just, you got to do it. Do you know what I'm saying? Because if you don't, the next man will do, or the next person will, and then, you know, they'll get the opportunity, you know? So, yeah, no, absolutely, man. That's my 2 pence on that.
I think just giving a couple of examples, what did work for me is when people are like, well, I'm following you on your social media. I see you're always with your artist. This song that you guys put out, I really like because this and this and this. I'm an artist. It's very much about the quality because it starts with the research, but then also translating the research into an email or a DM or something that shows me that you took the time to do your homework. And not only that, you specifically are targeting me, and not in general somebody in the industry. Because sometimes, like you said, Sammy, it's like I'm gonna build a database of names that I run across, and I'm just gonna email or DM everybody, and it's the same like generic little piece of text, and then you're supposed to respond, and when you don't, people get annoyed and stuff like that. But I'm like, but you didn't even take out the time to know who you're sending this to, so why do I need to take out the time to reply to you? But also, when you start pitching, make sure there's something to pitch. I get requests every week about people wanting me to do their management. But when I ask them what is there to manage, you know, with all respect, what do you want me exactly to manage? And they got 2 songs and the songs are amazing, but it's 2 songs. Then I'm like, but you're not at a point where these 2 songs need management because it's nothing more than 2 songs. There's no visions, there's no ideas, there's just 2 amazing songs. So definitely I would love to give you some advice left and right and keep sending me records, but let's have a serious conversation when we're 20 songs deep and you have an idea of how to do songs, and I have an idea where it, you know, what your music is about, because with 2 songs, I have no idea if the next song is going to be this or that. Hopefully the 2 songs are a little in line, but they might be completely different genres, especially with the people that I deal with. Sometimes they rap, sometimes they sing, like it can be something completely different. So that's another thing. If you do start pitching, also to Spotify or whatever, it's good to have at least 5 solid records that you know that you can put out that are at least mixed. Don't have to be mastered yet, but at least mixed, that you know that you can do a cycle of every 6 weeks you're releasing a song. Even if it's only audio, then at least there is a plan. There is a, okay, I got these 5 songs. These 5 songs are telling a story, and I might only have money to do 1 visual, so I do the 3rd song as a visual. The songs get better and better. There is an idea behind this, right? I'm going to keep the fans that like the first song entertained with a second song. And then by the third song, I build a little bit of an audience and they will tell each other. And this way I'm going to get some buzz type of thing. And then and also knowing where are you in your career. If you're approaching a manager that's doing some super major artists, you can't expect the manager to just pick you up because you approach them. And that's another very important thing during a pitch. What are you bringing to the table? What are your ideas? Did you save some budget with your day job? What are the type of relationships you already have that we can utilize to build you up? Those things will be really good in a pitch. And I think when you're pitching to media, if some other media outlets have picked you up, put that in your little email. Don't make it a long ass email like that. But, I know when I'm pitching my artists for Spotify curators or Apple curators or media, whatever, there's like a newsletter that I send that I tailor make with the people's names and stuff like that I keep repeating every 3 days if necessary. If anything happens, whenever anything happens, I'll send them a new email with the new things, a couple of the older things, and I just keep renewing. And people feel like it's a lot, but at the same time, it really works well because the Spotify curator is like, oh shit, Apple picked it up on this playlist, Tidal picked it up on this playlist. Oh, Apple picked it up somewhere else. Oh, Spotify the Netherlands did something. Okay, now me as Spotify US, now it becomes interesting. So it's not only about the numbers, but also the recognition of these other curators from other DSPs that see the song too and are hearing the song and are thinking the song has potential. So you keep informing everybody. And like Robin said, the same goes for DSPs. If they see another DSP's playlisting it, then now the other DSP is like, oh shit, I don't want to be that one DSP that didn't recognize this hit. So let me go ahead and listen again and see where I can put it on my playlist or whatever. That's how it works. So keep informing people to a point where you are being found interesting. That also helps. And it also puts you in the front of people's minds, right? Because if you keep sending a newsletter every 4 days, every week, people are like, oh shit, it might be a little much, but at the same time, you're like, okay, this person must be doing, by the time you send the 7th email, I'm like, okay, let me go check what this is, because they keep refreshing other titles. Something must be happening. I can't miss out. I might be a little late now, but I want to jump in it. So I think that's important too. So those are things that really can make an impression. And funnily enough, I had an IG live the other day with, I want to say with Focus, which is a 5-time Grammy Award winning producer that works with, Aftermath, works with Dr. Dre. And there was this one guy that kept giving comments in the IG live, but a little annoying. Like there wasn't really necessarily positive comments. Well, I wish you would listen to me because I'm so much better than the people that you're listening. Like I was like, yo, this guy is freaking annoying. Like I was about to report him, block him. I was like, yo. But at the same time, he did stand out because of it. And then we got to the demo listening, and I said, my G, you better be good, because you've been so annoying all through this thing. I said, he's like, yeah, I'm the shit, blah, blah, blah. And we're like, yo. So I sat back, I said, oh, okay, let's go. Focus sat back. Yo, the guy was amazing. Like the guy was so dope. We're like, oh shit, okay. So you got arrogance, but it fits, the quality of your music. I had to be like, okay, well, shit. I said, send me some music because it was really dope. And he stood out because of him being annoying. But then when he was able to back it up, I still had to respect it. And I still asked him for music. So I don't know if that's the way to go. But if you have an annoying personality, but your music is good, you might also try it that way.
I really like that story. I think maybe it's it works sometimes. A bit of ego is always there in hip hop and grime, isn't it? So, guys, just to take us on to the next question. So, when you think of collaboration, it is one of the strongest ways to kind of strengthen your platform. But what advice can you give to artists looking to collaborate on a project as a whole? And can you give an example of that? And we'll go with Robin.
Cool, collaboration. Yeah, I think just to pick up on something that Henca mentioned there, and maybe something that we all spoke about earlier, is everyone in music wears about 5 or 6 different hats and lanyards. We're all doing multiple jobs. So when you're looking at collaboration, don't be put off if, say, a magazine can't fit you in the actual magazine, because Clash, as I say, in ordinary times, we'd be running 2 monthly events. We've got a radio show on Rinse FM. We've got Spotify playlists. So in terms of collaboration, there's a lot of different things that can happen. And just because you're not in the magazine, you might be playing the live show. You might also be on the Spotify playlist. Somebody might come down to the live show and see you who works at 1Extra, then you might get that. So there's all different forms that collaboration can take. I think being open is probably one of the key things, isn't it? Just because you're releasing a specific type of project and you think it will work one way doesn't mean it won't work another way as well. I think the different platforms that we'll represent are just trying to let the cream rise to the top at the end of the day. We all want good music to get out there, and we all recognise it when we hear it and come across it. So I suppose if we look at things that we've done in the past, we put on a night with Jay Huss. Jay Huss at the time was actually banned by the police from performing in Shoreditch, but he was allowed to do a private event. So that meant it was the only time he was able to perform in East London in about 18 months. And then we went on and did a cover story with him. So it was all about building a relationship, I think. I think what artists will find is that the industry's got a very intimidating reputation, but if you actually meet the right people who connect with you, then people can actually be very, very loyal. And I think that's one of the reasons that I think particularly the current generation of UK rappers have been able to build and consolidate these careers. There's people around them that they've grown up with, whether that's Semtex and people like that in broadcasting, whether that's specific bloggers or writers as well. That people have been able to really build these relationships on a personal level. There's a lot of trust there. So I suppose, when you're looking at collaboration, look at something that's a bit more long-term than, say, just, a track post or getting a single radio play. Look at what that person can bring, to your life and your career and your art as well. I'm just trying to think of a few more examples, but I think with Clash, the aim is that because so much of what we do is digital and so much of digital is focused towards new music, it's like casting your net out and bringing all these artists in and then working with them, and then what's going to be right for the different aspects of the platform. And in the past, we've taken people all the way from, just a bottom of the bill live show right up to a cover. And it's been a real joy to actually work with these people on these things. And I think the artists respect it as well. As we said earlier, it's one thing to have that track post and get a buzz at seeing your name and what someone's written about it. It's another thing to go into W.H. Smith's and see that you're actually on the front cover of a magazine and kids are going to buy that and keep it, and it'll be in their bedroom, or in future generations will then go and get the magazine from the month they were born or something, and it's got your face on it. It's a real thrill. So in terms of collaborating with a platform, I would probably say know what you want to get out of it, but also be open to getting more or slightly less, with a mindset that this is going to be a future ongoing thing, that this isn't going to be just a day one thing. This is like day 1,000 down the line.
Yeah, fantastic, Robin. I know it's quite a lifetime dedication to it. It's more a kind of lifestyle, isn't it, really? So Sami, if I could just get you to, collaboration is the strongest way to strengthen your platform. So any advice you can give to artists looking to collaborate on a project as a whole?
Yeah, collaboration, very important, same as networking. Different, I guess, for a platform and artists, but giving advice to artists in terms of collaboration, we definitely recommend it. We think as an artist, you're coming to a studio to come to record, you're very comfortable. What does a collaboration do? Sometimes gets you out of your comfort zone. You come out of your comfort zone, what happens? You face new challenges, you overcome those challenges, you become a better artist. Not only that, you've created an amazing piece of music with another fellow artist. So absolutely collaboration. And even for us here at Up to Standard, as we worked hard in the foundation of creating our brand and making a strong brand, we shoot loads of content. So we collaborate with loads of different other studios. For example, Box Up Creative Container, and on 1 Washington Street, which is a new studio and is amazing, and loads of different people sort of come there. Then what happens is, you gain access to a whole new wider audience, same as what artists would do, collaborating with other artists. Not only are you overcoming new challenges, learning new ways to work with different people, and I guess gaining access to a whole new audience that you might have not had access to, through your collaboration. So that's positives from it.
Fantastic, Sami and Henca. Just on to yourself, because I'm quite aware that I think we're about 3 minutes over. So we'll get that in, and then I'm going to do a roundup on you guys. Thank you.
All right, so collaborating is to me the same thing as networking. Actually, it's just the step. It's in the same process. It's just a step down from, okay, you met each other, you keep in touch, and from that point, hopefully, a collaboration comes together. From an artist or creative to a creative, I agree fully with Sami just said. I think the most important thing is to learn from each other, to learn each other's audiences, to see how the other person does their marketing, and to do it based on whether you like the music or not. Not to look at, okay, how many followers does this person have, or how many, whatever. Create a dope piece of content, because that artist might not be big at that point, but they might blow up later. And if you have a collab with them, how cool is that? I think that's very important. Also, when you start growing as an artist, whoever gave you chances coming up, you need to remember these people, because what happens a lot of times is there's people that artists can step on and, talent development platforms, or like Sami has his studio, or Clash picks up new talent. They appreciate it at that point. But what happens a lot of times is when they move on up the ladder, they forget about the people that helped build the ladder for them, right? And so, but what people always forget is an artist's life is in cycles. So you're up one day and then you're down the next day. And if you treat the people really well on your way up, that means that when you come down, they'll be there to build the next ladder or the next staircase for you to go back up. If you start really trashing your relationships on your way up, by the time you come down, and there will be a point where you're coming down, even if it sounds unbelievable because you're the it guy at that particular moment, you're gonna come down. And when you come back down, everybody's gonna try to keep you down, because now at that point they're like, okay, nah, you didn't respect none of the stuff that we did for you. Now that we want to book you and you're big, all of a sudden you don't remember our names, you want to charge out of your whatever. And so by the time you come down, they really are gonna make an effort to keep you down. So collaborating is super important. Once you do the collaboration, and you might grow and become bigger than the person that you collaborated with, still respect them and treat them well, because you will see the same people you see going up, you will see coming down, and you will be coming down. So I think that's super important. Collaboration for New Schools, we collab with a lot of different other organizations, other conferences. We bring the bookers to our event. I go out to a lot of other conferences to scout for people there. We collaborate with a lot of talent developers from all across the world, really. And obviously we collaborate with a lot of schools, because I really do believe in investing in the future. So we will collaborate with schools, colleges here in the Netherlands that are training the next industry professionals, as well as conservatories and other types of music schools that are teaching the next generation that's in school about creating quality music. So collaboration is all we do, really. But I strongly believe in collaborating because genuinely you think you can bring something to your partner, and your partner can bring something to you, and together you're able to do better things. Not necessarily collaborating because it looks good on paper. I don't really believe in that part of collaboration.
Thank you, Henca. Some really valid points there as well. I totally agree with you. If people help you on the way up, they're there to catch you when you fall, and you've got a sustainable career, really. So guys, very, very quickly, I would just like to know, what are you working on, and how can artists get in touch with you very quickly? And we'll start with Robin, please.
Cool. Well, what I'm working on right now, the next issue of Clash comes out at the end of the month. The bulk of that is shot. The next issue is going to be the autumn issue, which comes out at the end of September. Then it's the big year-end special at launch just before Christmas in December. Alongside that, we have a monthly show on Rinse FM that has guest mixes and interviews on it. Hopefully events will be coming back. Cross our fingers that everything's going to work out as planned. If you want to get in touch with me, you can get me on Robin, ROBIN, @clashmusic.com, or I'm on Twitter at @ClashRobin. And if you want to pick up my book, it's called Listen to This If You Love Great Music, and you can get it on Amazon or Hive or in all good bookshops.
Brilliant, Robin. Thank you very much for that. And Sami, just what are you currently working on, and how can artists get in touch with you?
Currently, we are working on creating some new shows on our platform. So as our platform, as I was saying earlier, part of bringing exposure to the sounds that are coming out of Scotland, we've created 2 shows. One called the Take One live session, and the other one called Up To Live. One's catered for live freestyle sessions for rappers, and the other one is catered for singers and rappers, but more so acoustically. The new shows we're working on are, so we've got a Good to Know show starting, which is going to be a more of an informative show. And within that show, we're going to cover all other industry roles with being an artist or a producer. So music managers, promoters, you know, just across the board. And we've got a new show called the On-Site Show, which will take us to the home of the artist. So rather than bringing it into the studio, we would then maybe say the artist is from Edinburgh or Dundee or Aberdeen or Glasgow. We would then go there and sort of highlight their environment and how they became my words, sorry, to see how they have become the artists that they are. But yeah, other than that, we're launching the new arm of Up to Standard Management. Loads of amazing artists are coming now out of Scotland, and we feel like we can play an important part in maybe helping some of those artists progress to the next stage of their career.
Perfect. And the Up to Standard email, I think, is info.
And so you can get in touch with us through our Instagram, Facebook, which is @Up to Standard, or equally through email, which is info@uptostandard.com. Up to Standard spelled UP2STNDRD. Minus the A's, basically, no A's in standard. So yeah, info@uptostandard.com.
Perfect. And Henca, what are you working on, and how can artists get in touch with you?
We started working on New Schools 2022, which is going to be the 10th anniversary. Which is
I'm hoping to come to that, by the way.
Yeah, the biggest one yet. We're gonna do a hybrid version where the physical is going to be the physical event, but we're going to make it accessible online as well. Not the whole thing, of course, because some of it needs to be exclusive. So that's going to be the end of May. I didn't pick the exact dates yet, but I think it's going to be the second weekend of May. That's the first one. And then I was already working on the New School Rules Russia before the pandemic hit. So we put that on a standstill, but I'm assuming if everything opens back up, we'll do, which is going to be amazing because it's the 10th anniversary in the Netherlands, and then it will be the pilot edition in Russia. So that will be amazing. We're researching right now to do one in the Caribbean as well next year. I'm originally from Curacao, so there's somebody out in Curacao right now researching and finding sponsors and opportunities there for it. That's one. And then obviously I'm starting I already started a new company called Top Source 14, under which I do the management of producers, songwriters, and artists. So I'm always looking for great talent. And the publishing company will also be under Top Source 14. And then my oldest daughter is going to high school, so I'm gonna try to support the homework and everything else. She's going to my old high school, so that's cool. And my youngest is going to kindergarten, so I'm gonna try to keep it together as a mom while I'm doing all this other stuff. That's the biggest challenge, actually. But other than that, so people can find me on Top Source 14, so TOPSOURCE and 14 @gmail.com. And for New School Rules, people can just email to info@newschoolrules.com or follow me on social media, Henca14, on all platforms. Yeah, it's Henca14, even on TikTok, because I'm experimenting myself on TikTok, and I am doing the dance because I don't care. I'm testing some stuff out. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And hopefully collaborating with you guys over at Hang. I need to see some Scottish talent.
Yeah.
I know it's there. I've seen some online, but I think I've had one Scottish artist before, but he applied directly to us or whatever, I know it's there. I want to see some reggae from Scotland, some hip
Yeah,
hop,
we've got reggae, hip hop, drill, grime.
real, exactly, grime, all of that,
You can
all of
depend
that.
on me,
So
man. Henca. I'll keep you up to date, man. Don't worry.
yes, please, let's do that, because I feel like, internationally people are so focused on the US or maybe on the south of, the UK or whatever. There's a whole world out here that you can pop in. Like, you don't have to limit yourself to a certain area because you happen to be from that area. There's people out there in the world. There's a lot of us in the world, and we should just find where people do like our music, right? And then focus on that. So I feel like we can all collaborate in this
I hope it will be okay. I would love to connect with yourself,
Yes,
Robin.
of course. Let's go.
Throw you a little email. We can catch up and then maybe take it from there.
Yeah. Let's make sure that you guys from Scotland have a bigger delegation than the UK next year.
Yeah.
That will be dope. That
would be brilliant, yeah. Guys, I would be absolutely thrilled to collaborate with all of you. I have some of the stuff that you've said today has been absolutely brilliant. Some really great advice in there to artists, whether they're aspiring or already made. So thank you, Henca, Robin and Sami, for joining me today on Platforms Promotion and Pitching. I've really enjoyed talking to you, and hopefully this will help go out to our Hang audience and give them some inspiration and advice that they need. So thank you very, very much for joining me today, guys.
Alana, could I add one last thing?
Good.
Yes, Sami, on you go.
Please, yeah, no, I just feel that, sorry, I missed on this earlier on, but I feel like this is a very, very important part for artists specifically. We all practice a form of art, so you need to know your why. Why are you doing it? It's very important. Absolutely, have the vision, know your purpose and whatnot, and you learn about yourself as you grow within your art form. In today's day and age, technology is available. I know artists are in the house in their bedroom making demos. I know there's auto-tune. You know what I mean? Like it's very easy to make music nowadays, which is great, right? But context, it needs to carry some weight. And it's fine at your early stages while you're learning technical skills and stuff on how to record and that. But really and truly, you need to know your why. You know what I mean? I know how music makes me feel when I listen to it. So as an artist, that is what you should want your audience to feel. And, you would never connect with a fan much stronger than that. You know what I'm saying? So that's my last piece that I'd love to put out there for everyone.
That's an amazing ending. Yeah.
Brilliant. No, guys, again, thank you so much, honestly. And thank you for putting your emails out there. I'm hoping some artists pitch to you with some good pitches in the end. But thank you very much for joining me today. And I hope to speak to you all again soon.
Thank you. Lovely to meet you all.
Cool.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye. Take care.